Okay. So yeah, finally getting things underway. Hi Darren. How are you
Hello,
doing?
I'm good, thanks. You okay?
Yeah, doing great. How how is the Arsenal vibe right now? And what are the feelings? You have a big game against Everton tomorrow, and of course the big Champions League game on Tuesday. So how's the mood in the camp? I would say the Arsenal camp.
Yeah, well, we're a bit, I would say, as a fan base, a bit nervous now that Gabriel's got his injury the other day. Before that, I was not confident because I think Madrid will have a little bit too much for us, but I thought we'd be able to give them a good game, especially with Saka coming back. But now that Gabriel's out, I've got concerns, especially if he's going to play Kirill at centre half, because I don't personally think he's good enough. I hope he plays White or Timber at centre back. In terms of Everton tomorrow, yeah, I'm. Do you know what? I'm not too bothered about the result. I know that sounds blasé, but the important thing for us is to give the Champions League everything we've got, and if that means that Saka only plays half an hour, or Odegaard's got a knock, so he doesn't play. He just rests, or Rice, or any of those guys. Then I'll take it if it means they'll be fit for the Champions League. So yeah, that's Everton game. That's my thoughts on the Everton game.
Yeah, that's honestly a pretty genuine thing. I think another thing to add is I guess the game's at Goodison tomorrow, which is and because I think Everton are unbeaten in their last 8 or 9 games, and at Goodison, given I guess there are only 3 or 4 games remaining before they move to the new stadium. That's naturally been an added incentive. And as you also said, for the Real Madrid game, Gabriel's injured, and there are a few concerns in the Real Madrid dugout as well. I think Lunen's out. Courtois potentially it's touch and go. So there could be a chance that there might be an academy player keeping for Real against Arsenal. Um, I think, yeah.
Fingers crossed.
I think Chouameni is suspended. Um, so that's another blow. But I think the biggest, I guess if Arsenal had the second leg at Emirates, I believe it would have been a much higher chance because I think the last time Real lost a game, lost a knockout tie in the Champions League while playing at the Bernabeu for the second leg was the Ajax side, Ten Hag's Ajax, when I think they lost 4-1 in the second leg and got knocked out eventually. So I guess that would be a slight concern, but hey, the past teaches you a lot about the future, and we all remember what Arsenal did in 2006, right? When
Yeah, Thierry
Thierry
in that
Henry,
yellow
oh
shirt.
yeah, O2, I mean that was I think the OG Arsenal era back in the days, Highbury and
Yeah,
even not just the goal, but the run, to the corner flag. I mean, these are iconic memories. I just grew up watching football approximately at that time. Like I was just getting into football. And these are like the core memories which, you do
yeah,
remember. So there's always a chance. It's obviously going to be a really tough one. But if maybe you get a goal or two in the first leg and you go into the second leg with something to have on the tally, maybe things might work out because Real have not been playing well recently. They might have scraped results, but almost every single game they have relied on individual brilliance to kind of pull them through. I guess even the last I think a couple days back they played Real Sociedad as well. It was 4-all, and they won because I mean they won the first leg 1-0, and then they kind of won 4-all over. I mean overall score was 4-all, and then they won the Champions League as well, which was a controversy, the Julian Alvarez penalty. So
yeah.
it's been scrappy, yeah.
Yeah, it has. And like you say, I did some of that Sociedad game. It was interesting, but they just seem to be a different animal in the Champions League, don't they? They just turn up for the big games. They got a lot of big game players. They got like, Jude and Vinicius just comes alive when it comes to Champions League, and Mbappe is just Mbappe, isn't he? He's class. It'll be great if, like you say, Courtois doesn't play, because I still think that Courtois, for me, is probably the best goalie in the world, I'd say. Um, so if he doesn't play, I'll be happy.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I think I believe until the last season, I believe it was Courtois like clear. But purely this season, I think Courtois has been brilliant. I think Raya has been really good too for Arsenal. I think Matt Sells for Forest has been superb as well, which is an odd shout, but I think because Courtois has missed some part of the season due to injuries, like he's had a few injuries in the middle. I think Raya has been super consistent. As you know, there were initially a lot of questions amongst Arsenal fans itself if it was right to have Ramsdale and Raya together. But I think he's proven himself
Yeah,
and he's been solid, yeah.
yeah. I felt sorry for Ramsdale at the time, but the more that time has gone on, the more correct, I guess, is the right term, that
Yeah.
Arteta has been proved. Because as much as Ramsdale's character was amazing, and I really liked I liked how mad he was and all that as an Arsenal fan. Yeah, I liked it, but a lot of the goals I'm seeing Saints concede, I think Ramsdale himself would be disappointed with. Not all of them, obviously, but some of them. I think he'll say, I could have saved that, or I should have saved that. And it's one thing doing it for Southampton, but you just come under that microscope even more when you're at Arsenal. And like you say, Ray has been super consistent. I just think, yeah, just Raya's like there for me, and Courtois is just that bit. He's like Raya maybe like very good, and then Courtois is like elite, world class. Only a few goalies can match him, really. Like there's there's not many. Maybe Allison at Liverpool. Um, that's about that's about it, really, that I can think of that spring to mind that I see regularly. I mean, the AC Milan keeper Magnan. Yeah,
Fine.
I think he's very good, but I don't watch him week in week out, so I wouldn't classify him up there. And even someone like Emi Martinez, for me, he's not with Courtois and
Yeah.
Allison. I know he got the best keeper and whatever. And in that final, that's the World Cup final, that save was outrageously good on Koulibaly. Um, but yeah, like I don't hold anything against him or knock him for winning that award. But for me, he's not the best keeper in the world. He's a very good keeper, and he's very good for Aston Villa. But even he has the odd goal that goes in, and I just think you should be stopping that, mate. Especially for how much shit you give the fans and the opposition players and everyone else. So yeah,
Yeah, I think with Emmy, that one World Cup final kind of, elevated his stature from, this to that. And I guess every single rival fan has some memory of Emmy, which makes you hate him. I remember he did the little jig at Old Trafford when, who was it? I think Bruno skied a penalty, and then, yeah, he's a shithouse, yeah, Emmy.
yeah, he loves it.
Yeah.
But every team has one. You've got Bruno.
Yeah,
Uh, Forest have got Ryan Yates. He was at it the other night, rolling around every 5 minutes, but he's great at doing that. Cucurella for Chelsea. You know, every team has one. I'm sure
yeah,
Arsenal got like Ben White. He loves
yeah,
leaving a foot in late when there's no need to. Um, yeah, Everton have got Jordan Pickford. It's
yeah.
just the list goes on. Spurs, Christian Romero. Pretty much
Yeah,
every team has one, and it's one of those you love them if they're your team, but you
yeah.
hate them if they're not. What do you think to United at the moment? Are you Amarim in or Amarim out?
Nah, nah, nah. I'm not. I mean, I'm gonna be very fair. I was one of those guys who maybe it was a minority, But now naturally that Amorim is in, I'm gonna back him till the very end. But even when Ten Hag got sacked, I was one of the minority who still wanted to pursue with Ten Hag because I've seen this at United for the last 12 years since Sir Alex actually left, that it's not always the manager. Like, surely you can't have the best in class. I mean, we had a pretty decent David Moyes who came from Everton, who had done wonders at that time. Then we tried Louis van Gaal, who has European pedigree. We tried Jose Mourinho, who is arguably one of the greatest ever. We tried Solskjaer, who is a club legend. Then we had Ralph Rangnick for a bit. Yeah, that's not something which I'm gonna be adding because it was just for 6 months. Then we had Ten Hag, who again had a great reputation coming in with what he did at Ajax. Also, he was working under Pep at Bayern. There was good pedigree, and now Amorim. So it's constantly been the players who have been, you know, the constant, and the managers have kind of faced um, faced the backlash and eventually lost their jobs. So even if we go down, I'm going to that extent. We're not going to go down unless there's a point deduction. You never know with how things are today, right? But even if we go down, I'm never going to be Amorim out unless something mad happens. We still have a shot at the Europa League, even though personally I do not believe that we are the favorites. There are two teams who I have been constantly, kind of having my head on that they are the favorites. One is Bilbao because the final is at Athletic, like it's at their stadium, so that's an added incentive to go through. And second, which is the North Shout, which for some reason has gone under the radar, it's Leon. The thing with Leon is they're probably going to get relegated to the second division the next season because of financial issues. They need the Europa League more than any other club. They need the money more than any other club out of the ones remaining. And they have some ballers in that side. They have the likes of Mikautadze, who had a brilliant Euros for Georgia. They have Ryan Cherky, up and coming. I really wanted him to get a move to a bigger club, a big club right in the summer. They have some experienced heads like Nemanja Matic, Corentin Tolisso, and the list goes.
Lacazette.
Lacazette, of course, yeah, Lacazette. So we're playing them this Thursday, which will be an asset test. I'm concerned, but again, the only thing I'm banking on is the second leg is at Old Trafford, which I'm not gonna lie, our league form has not been the best, but we have been doing pretty well in the European competitions I mean, at home. So that's one thing, I'm kind of hoping goes our way. But we play Lyon, and then if we beat Lyon, it's gonna be the winner of Athletic Bilbao and Rangers, which I believe should be Bilbao. You never know, funnier things have happened, which is again gonna be a tough test. So yeah, we have a derby this Sunday, but as the same way that you're not very concerned about the Everton game, I cannot say I'm not concerned about the derby. It is a Manchester derby at the end of the day. They are your rivals, and I will be up for the game. But naturally, the entire focus is on the Europa League because we do wanna, we have financial constraints right now and need the money to buy good players in the window coming up.
Yeah, I think you've looked a lot better recently in the last 5 or 6 games. I think it seems to be starting to get through to the players. Personally, that's the way I see it.
Yeah, no, that's very fair. That's the exact same assessment here as well. I think ever since the first leg at Real Sociedad, which ended 1-1, and then we played Arsenal, I think we were pretty decent. It was end to end. I think we could have nicked it. So could you? Um, then we played Sociedad again. Very good game. I think we were pretty decent against Forest as well at the weekend.
Yeah, I
Um,
would say so.
yeah, got unlucky. I mean, should have scored, but I think the biggest problem with us is we do not have enough goal scorers. It's just Bruno. Bruno's
Yeah,
gonna score, Bruno's gonna assist. There's no one else to kind of finish the dinner off. So that is a slight concern, and hopefully we do sign a batsman in the summer because there are some names which are floating around like Gyökeres, there's Victor Osimhen. Yeah, Isak's too good for us. I don't want to talk about Isak because
I don't think he'll go anywhere personally. I think he'll stay.
okay, that's a bold claim. I mean, it's not too bold as well. Maybe it's a very, very good possibility that he does stay at Newcastle, especially when, they won the Carabao Cup. They might potentially get into the Champions League. So there are chances, but hey, Isak at Arsenal, that's like the biggest rumor, I would say. He's a big fan of
Yeah,
Thierry
I mean, I
Henry.
would love him, obviously, but
Yeah,
personally, I don't think Newcastle need to sell him, so I don't think they will. I just think they'll say, "Not this summer, mate. Just you're you're staying. We're the Saudis. We got more money than anyone else. You know,
yeah.
you're staying. You've got 3 years on your contract or whatever it is." So yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I think anyway.
no, no, that's fair. I mean, there's of course a chance that he does stay, but if he does leave, I believe maybe Liverpool and Arsenal are two good alternatives because I think Liverpool also need a centre forward. I think Nunes, not the one, and Arsenal naturally lack a centre forward. I think every single one was banging on the drum in the January transfer window, get a centre forward, but Mikel Merino, the R9
Yeah,
legend.
exactly. Yeah, he's doing all right to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
fair
not
to
gonna
him, but he shouldn't
lie.
be there. But yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Also, I have a small hot take. I want your thoughts on it as an Arsenal fan. This Arsenal side, which would be playing against Real Madrid at the Bernabeu eventually, um, is on paper a better side than the one which went in '06 as a unit. Yeah, just as a unit,
The one
because
that got to the final. Do you mean
um, so okay, let me put it this way: the 11 which played against Real, I kind of have them up. I think so. I think what happened in '06 again, you would know better. You're an Arsenal fan, but there
it
were a lot
wasn't
of
our best team?
yeah. It wasn't your best team, right?
It
Uh,
wasn't.
so
Yeah,
it was Lehman, of course. It was Gilbert, Kolo
not
Touré.
Abue. What was it? What
Yeah,
happened to him?
Eboué played left back.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, Gilbert right back. Senderos, streets won't forget. Kolo Touré, Fabregas, Flamini, the late Jose Antonio Reyes, Leb, Lumberg, and Henry.
Yeah, the defense is an absolute
Yeah,
disgrace.
it's yeah, not
So
gonna lie, yeah. I mean, if Gabriel was fit, I think I would, you know, it would be lesser of a hot take that the current side is, I believe, more capable of getting a result at Real as compared to this. Like, I believe that if this Arsenal side beats Real Madrid, it would be less of a shock as compared to what happened in the '06
yeah,
time, is what I say. But again,
no,
you're the
no,
Arsenal
I
fan, so
I
it's just
agree. I agree with that take. The thing I thought you might have been saying was, about is this team our best team sort of thing, and I would have been like, no,
yeah,
not
no
compared
chance.
to the
Yeah,
Invincible season,
yeah,
but compared to that team, especially that 11 that you read out there, God, Kerr
yeah.
Gilbert at
Yeah,
right back. I
yeah,
mean, fair play. I'm not knocking the bloke, but Jesus
yeah.
Christ, you know, it, that's not a good 11 that you've read out there. I mean, Sendros had a ricket in him every time he played. Abue was great going forward, but terrible the other way. I always thought growing up. Flamini was a good hard worker, but not nothing special. If you're comparing him to Partey, he's not really a comparison personally. Fabregas obviously is unbelievable, so that's one that gets in the team. Henri gets in the team, obviously. Kleb, very good player, probably edge Reyes or Kleb, whoever you want over Martinelli, because I'm not a massive Martinelli fan. Saka over Lundberg for me, even though Lundberg was unbelievable, and then Thierry, obviously. Um, but yeah, it's yeah, it it's
Yeah.
probably like a 7-4 in favor of this team versus the last team. So yeah, I'll back your hot take.
Yeah. I mean, because I was going through the run of '06, and I was just looking at, the team, and yeah, the thing is, this team hasn't won enough. Naturally, should have won much more than what they have until now. But maybe the potential of the current squad superimposes the one which, was at that time, given a lot of the players were aging as well. I think Andre was towards his
Yeah,
latter years at Arsenal. Um, I think for this particular game, there were a lot of injuries. By the time it reached the final, you almost got your main 11 back. You
yeah, we
had the
had
likes of
Soul
Sol
and people like
Campbell.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right. Yeah, that sounds pretty fair. Um, Another interesting question, if you do have the time.
yep,
Again, I was too young. I was not even born, but I've watched a lot of documentaries. I've seen a lot of videos and all of that. Do you think that the Invincibles Arsenal side was Arsenal's best side, or was it the one in 98, 99 when you actually got the double? Because um, so do you value the one golden trophy, which has never been done, right? So that's an insane achievement in its own. Or do you value maybe a 98, 99 double, or even Chelsea's 0405, which won the double over the Invincibles? So what are your thoughts on that?
yeah. I mean, I d- the 98, 99, or sorry, uh, the Arsenal double team.
Yeah.
Um, I I was like 8 at that time, so it's hard for me to. I didn't have as much of an understanding as I did in the Invincible season, so I would always lean towards the Invincible seasons for that reason. Um, so if I was relating our team to the Chelsea team, I'm probably a bit biased, but yeah, I would take our Invincible team over the Chelsea team. However, that Chelsea team, I think, was that the team that only conceded like
14.
16 goals or
Yeah,
something, or
yeah,
26 goals,
yeah.
or
14 goals, I guess, in the
yeah,
Premier League.
14 goals. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's tough because there's always bias, and I try to pride myself on not being too biased. But I mean, with that team, it's very hard not to be a little bit biased. I mean, yeah, yes, it's a good question. It's a really good question, but I don't know, because that Chelsea team, you'd say that they'll just you won't score against them, so
Yeah.
it doesn't matter how well you play. But then one of my memories of growing up with Arsenal was the fact that the amount of games, and it might have been over a few years rather than just that season, but the amount of times that it was 3-0 to Arsenal at half time during a period with Wenger, it was sort of incredible that the game was over by half time, like on a regular basis, like sort of in a way with Pep, back maybe a couple of years ago now when they were Centurions or whatever uh, but yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, you could the best teams I've probably seen, though, the best team I've seen is probably annoyingly is probably that Barcelona team with
Has to be.
Messi and all that.
Yeah.
And that's really annoying because it's sort of the boring answer, but it's
Yeah.
it's the truth. Sadly, the trouble was they just you couldn't get the ball off them, and it was only when they aged that little bit that then Bayern ripped them to shreds with Ribery and Robin. Now that was satisfying after years of watching Barcelona pass teams off the pitch. Bayern just having no respect for them and just ripping them apart. I think they won like 7-1 or something on aggregate. Yeah, but yeah, but I'm still a bit bitter about that Van Persie red card at the new camp where he couldn't even hear the whistle, and it was like 2 seconds, not even 2 seconds after he blew, and he thing. But yeah, yeah. It's I think the year that I I always think was our best chance was the Invincible year where we lost to Chelsea. Yeah, and Wayne Bridge scored. I think that was the Invincible year. I might be getting it confused, but that year I think, because I think that was the year Jose won it with Porto. So that was a massive chance for us if we could have got through that game. But then who knows? You could have just lost in the next round. That's the beauty of the Champions League, isn't it? But yeah, that's the team that I think had the best chance. When we got to that final against Barcelona, I was going into the game and you're like, you're just praying that you win. You're not expecting it. You're not even like, I would say I was probably like 25% believe believe that we could win. And then obviously Lehman gets that red card
No.
so early. It's like, well, then you sort of feel like the writing's on the wall. Then you go through the emotion of Sol Campbell, I think it was, scoring a
Yeah.
header. And you think, oh, we might actually do this here. And then obviously you get your heart
Yeah.
ripped out at the end. But yeah, so I feel like I would have been more confident in a number of other teams other than that team getting to a final.
Yeah, that's pretty fair. Also, I did say 98, 99. I think it was 97, 98. 99 was the year when we won the treble. I don't know
Yeah,
how
I did think
I
that's
said that.
why I
Yeah,
was
I
just
was, yeah, right. And yeah, there have been some shocking decisions, not just Barcelona, Real Madrid as well, which have been pretty controversial. I think the Van Persie one was, um, it was the second leg when I think Arshavin, it was the Arshavin against Barcelona, like a special game in the first leg, right? I think it was 2-1 in the first leg and
yeah.
3-1.
Was that the Jack Wilshere game? I think it might have been
I
where he,
guess so. Because I think I remember Arsenal winning the first game 2-1.
yeah, Fabregas and
Well, I think Arshavin
Arshavin.
win, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that
And
little
then in
curler at the end. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And then in the second leg, of course, the Van Persie red and um yeah, I think 3-1 to Barcelona. And also about the 06 game, there are a lot of there was no VAR naturally at that point, but a lot of people do believe that Eto was offside for the first goal, which again, I don't know because the fine margins and back in the day, a lot of offside decisions where it was common to get an offside decision wrong in the back in the day when there were
yeah.
no lines
Especially when
and
it was a Spanish team
yeah.
in the on the other side of it. Like that
Yeah,
Chelsea game was an absolute disgrace.
yeah,
That
yeah,
that
yeah.
referee in that Chelsea game. But there we go.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's pretty
Poor
fair.
Chelsea.
Yeah, I think so. Just to kind of wrap it up, if you had to rate your chances out of 10 for the Real game, not just Real, but to actually go on to maybe achieve the unthinkable and actually go on to win the Champions League, uh, what do you think would that be, and who do you believe are the favorites, if not Arsenal? And do you think the league's gone at this point? Or
Yeah, the
is there
league.
a slight chance,
Nah, the league is
nah.
the league. We've probably got a 1% chance of winning because we would have to win every single game and hope for a miracle. So that's never happening. Um, Champions League, I'd say I'd give us sort of a 40% chance of going through against Real, which I think that's positive, really. But then to win the whole thing, it'd be less because I think there's better teams than us. So 25% chance of winning it. And I don't want to be negative, but I'll just try and be realistic. I think PSG look incredible and they look like an actual team. But I still think Madrid will win the lot. I just think they've got it. I just think they're just maybe Barca because Barca are playing some incredible football. I just worry about them. They seem to get a lot of red cards, just like the one against Benfica, and they let in a lot of goals, but they do score so many. And Rafinha just, I mean, you could tell he was good at Leeds, but wow, he's gone on to a new level and fair play to him. So yeah, it's tough. I fancy Real just because of their pedigree, but PSG and Barca are both very good teams this year. So yeah,
Yeah, I think that's a very fair assessment. I mean, I don't think you can go wrong with saying Real Madrid is the favorite for the Champions League because they just do it every single time. But genuinely, it's football. Funny things have happened. So you never know. This could be, you know, maybe not for me. I naturally do not want any English club to win win
Yeah,
silverware, but yeah, it could be your year. Because if you get past Real, the confidence which that would take, that would get you for potential game against PSG, who you have ripped apart this season
yeah,
at the Emirates. You know, yeah, you never know. It could go all the way. But I guess the more generic and the more logical prediction would be an El Clasico in the final. Yeah, that's pretty fair. Yeah, I
what a
think.
game that'll be.
Oh, yeah. I don't think there has been an El Clasico in a Champions League final, if I'm not wrong.
Mhm.
Yeah, I guess there have been a lot of times when people believe that there's going to be an El Clasico, but then either Barcelona bottled it or at times Real did, right? Because I think my most recent memory was I think the game against Roma when Barcelona was leading, what was that, 4-1 in the first leg, and then you had the Manolas header, which went in, and I guess that season was destined to be an El Clasico in the final,
Yeah,
but yeah, and there have been a lot of other kind of similar instances as well. So let's see what happens for you. Hopefully, Arsenal do go deep into the Champions League. In your case, hopefully they do win it. Not for me. I don't. Naturally, as I said, I do not want an English club to win it. Um, but yeah, it was awesome having you on. Um,
no problem.
yeah, wishing you all the best. Everyone, Darren has a channel. It's The Sporting Take, and I really enjoyed. I got to know about yours through your quizzes, and then I eventually went on to see the YouTube channel. Yeah, they're super fun. The riddles, the quizzes, they're
Yeah,
really
check them
fun.
out.
Yeah, yeah. Check them out.
They take a
On
lot of time to think of all of them. So yeah,
Yeah,
I've done
yeah, yeah.
over 800 now, believe it or not.
Okay, okay.
800 players. So
Wow.
I'm gonna have to start going back round and doing the same player again because I've tried to do a different player all 800 times.
Okay.
So I've
That's
only done
that's
I've only done the same player like twice,
okay.
about 10 times in the whole time. So
Okay, okay. That's super interesting. But yeah, it was great having you on, and thanks a lot for your time. Good luck in all your content and everything you do in your life as well, Darren.
thanks, mate. You too. Take care.
Thank you.